In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Flatjack 2.0 camper van leveling system. We'll be talking about its pros and cons and comparing it to some other products on the market, like the universally loathed leveling blocks. And as a bonus, we'll also be talking about some tips on how to get the most out of your Flatjacks if you do decide to get them. But hey, let's not waste any more time. Hit it. Now, if you're like me, getting a good night's sleep is not optional, it's mandatory. And I also like cooking in my van, so having a level work surface where my pots and pans aren't sliding off of my glass cooktop is also a non-negotiable. But I also like traveling to remote destinations full of uneven, rocky campsites that don't lend themselves to optimal parking situations. So what's a van lifer to do? All right, I'm just gonna level with you. Leveling my van is one of those game changers that once I started doing it, I could never go back to the unlevel life again. But now there's a few different options for leveling your van on the market. For instance, did you know there's a very expensive hydraulic leveling system that costs several thousands of dollars to install? Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that because it's out of 99% of most people's budgets. Then there's the aforementioned and universally despised leveling blocks, aka the devil's Legos. But we can do better, people. The solution I want to talk about today is the Flatjack leveling system, because it really has become somewhat of a godsend to the camper van community. Whenever someone sees these at a campsite or a trade show, they absolutely flip out. And it's usually because they've suffered the pain and torture of leveling blocks in the past and are having that holy grail moment.
What? A swallow carrying a coconut?
Here are some of the big issues with leveling blocks in no particular order. First of all, leveling blocks are a pain in the the absolute stress fest of perfectly aligning your tires, accelerating while simultaneously braking, trying to end up at the top of the pyramid and putting your van in park, only for it to roll forward a few inches at the last second, over and over and over until it's somewhat level. It's enough to drive someone completely insane.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
And has surely ended numerous marriages. The Flatjack is so much easier. You just roll onto it, put your van in park, and inflate the Flatjack. That's it. That's literally it. It uses a plain old Schrader valve and inflates in a few minutes using a battery-powered compressor, or a few seconds using an onboard compressor. It's so simple that it's embarrassing to think that we've used leveling blocks for so long. First point goes to Flatjack. The second issue I have with leveling blocks is they take up a ton of valuable space in your van. If the average van is 450 cubic feet and your van build costs $75,000, that would mean that each cubic foot in your van is worth $166. If leveling blocks take up 2 cubic feet, then you're wasting $366 of space. Flatjacks fold flat. They take up virtually no space at all and can fold to an inch or two. That's another point for Flatjack. The third thing I didn't like about leveling blocks is that, quite frankly, they're disgusting. They get caked in dirt and sand and are a pain to clean. The muddier it is, the worse they are to clean. On the flip side, Flatjacks wipe clean in less than 10 seconds. That's another point for Flatjack for those of you keeping score at home. The final thing that I dislike about leveling blocks is they're not durable at all. They're always cracking and warping because you have to drive an extremely heavy vehicle at awkward angles over and over again. There's no Lego in the world that can take that kind of punishment. They get damaged so much that I used to have to buy a new set just about every year. Flatjacks are much more durable and heavy duty. I've had the same set for over 2 years and they're still as good as the day I bought them. They don't crack, they don't warp, and they're made of military grade materials. This is the 2.0 version and it has a diameter of 26.5 inches and weighs about 2.2 pounds. The Flatjack 2.0 has a weight rating of over 3,300 pounds per tire. So, Flatjacks are easier to use, they're easier to clean, they take up less space and are far more durable than leveling blocks. Now that we've established how awesome Flatjacks are, I'd like to discuss a few quick tips to get the most out of your Flatjacks. First, don't overinflate them. The maximum inflation is 22 psi in cool temperatures. However, we recommend stopping inflation at around 15 to 18 psi to allow for temperature and pressure fluctuations. As a rule of thumb, stop inflating the flat jack when you don't see it rising anymore. Even at a lower psi, the flat jack can still create a lift of up to 7 inches. In high temperatures, we recommend deflating the flat jack less than normal to prevent the internal pressure from rising with the temperature. Second, protect the flat jack from punctures by making sure the area you're using them is free of sharp objects such as rocks, twigs, glass, etc. I definitely recommend placing a rubber mat below the flat jack in troublesome areas. The flat jack is very durable, but it's not invincible. Here's the cheap yoga mat from Walmart that I cut in half and I like to use. Tip 3. Protect the flat jack from extended UV exposure. If you're camped in a spot where the flat jack will be in direct sunlight for long periods of time, consider covering it with a towel or other item to protect it from extended UV damage. My fourth tip is to be very careful when releasing air from the flat jack. The cap that goes on the out valve is under a lot of pressure, so be sure to protect yourself from the cap. We recommend using your palm to catch the cap after the last turn of the valve stem. And last, orientation matters. Only use the flat jack with the wheel supported by the following tread marks. Never inflate the flat jack if it's perpendicular to the wheel. Well, that does it for this product review. If you got some value from this video and want to see more like it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Definitely head over to vanlifeoutfitters.com for tons of other blog posts, videos, product reviews, and other useful content about building a DIY camper van. And while you're there, be sure to check out our store, which features only the best road-tested products for your van build. And as always, thanks for watching, safe travels, and we'll see you next time.